The region of the Bleeding Forest is a thick wood of twisted, towering trees, rising in some cases to over 100 feet tall. The bark is covered in thorns and a red moss that seems to thrive on leaching nutrients and fluids from the tree. The moss is vampiric, drinking blood and consumes the blood-like sap within the tree, as well as latching itself onto animals and people to feed off of them like a parasite wherever it can. The moss spores can become so thick they blow into the sky, and the greenish hue of Cindara's atmosphere is turned into a blood red. As they move through the air, they will briefly land on a host to feed before being carried away by the next gust of wind. While each spore only feeds a little, thousands can make the host seem to sweat blood, and if enough spores get blown by a gust of wind, a person can appear to wither into a husk in a matter of moments. Some of the older trees secrete a calcium-like growth that forms into the shape of bony protrusions. Influenced by the necromantic energy of the region, they take on the shape of skulls, and in some cases, fully developed skeletons dangling from the branches by their toes like macabre berries. When the skeletons ripen, they fall off the tree and animate, attacking people at random, ripping apart their flesh to lay at the tree's roots as sustenance, and then act as guardians. The necromantic energy of the region doesn't just affect the trees, but influences all the plants and life of the region. Mushrooms take on the shape of skulls, flowers have petals of bony plates, and grass becomes a sea of finger bones. Necromantic druids, harvesters of the perversion of nature, come to draw the energy from the forest to animate strange abominations, creating half-bone treants, brambleweed skeletons, and rolling mounds of skull-like moss patches. They have no other aim than to worship the corrupt gods of nature, the Lili, and attempt to summon the mutated creatures from the deep, chaotic dimensions. They offer them perversions of nature as tribute in exchange for power, or in some cases, to be taken and shown true reality. While the region is hostile and corrupted by strange powers, Earth Gel is surprisingly still rich, and the Federation still comes to clear out sections of the forest to draw up the brown gel-like substance to burn as elemental fuel. They even build towns mostly out of the bone wood. While many of these cabins are covered in bone growths, some like the look, calling them Gothic cabins, and all appreciate the wood's ability to keep the moss from penetrating inside. But for the land's darker horrors, only faith in the spark can protect. For more information on necrodruids, please refer to the Necromancy Wing subsection Perversions in the Exemplia Library.